Oh, happy Sunday. Good evening. Woo, I literally made it 2 minutes to spare. I got all the way to the studio and I realized I forgot an important piece of equipment the microphones. Yeah, so ran back. I'm just, my gas now is going to be, I got to stop at the gas station on the way home, but made it in the nick of time. So I'm so glad that you're here, guest. I'm sorry that you had to possibly, you were locked out. So we're here. We're happy. We're grateful. And you know what? I honestly, this is like one of my favorite, well, returning guests, only returning guests. But this is my favorite subject, just breaking down, simplifying those scary, sometimes scary, intimidating steps. But tonight are the bigger ones, 8 and 9. And back to basics style. So there's this wonderful book written by Wally Patton, Back to the Basics. And it really breaks them down. And really this book, this format is what saved me and these steps. Because before this book and these simplified versions, I was a struggler, big time. So anyway, I'll go ahead and introduce you, Jason B. Back again. Oh, and listeners, if you're new, so this is K.I.S.S. Recovery 101, Bridge Sky. Your host tonight, many other nights, but K.I.S.S., keep it simple, stupid. Recovery 101, basics. And what's nice is I made a point. I do have a fun clip tonight, Jason, that really talks about, I think, the detrimental points to these two steps. But let's just let you get into your thing. I want to touch on 8. I know we don't have to spend too much time on 8 because 9 is the bigger, scarier one. But 8 is a lot of people want to kind of misinterpret, I think, a lot. So you break it down. Say hello to the listeners, Jason, and let's get right into step 8.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you. My name's Jason, and I've been on here before. I lead Back to Basics and Fridley here. So my favorite thing to do, I need to do it because I have to keep it simple because I'm stupid. But I keep doing this over and over, and it just reinforces this program for me, and it really works. And I need the reminder all the time, and I, like a lot of us, we can't just rest on our laurels or, oh, I'm good, and blow it off for a little while. I just got to keep doing it over and over. But I keep learning, too. It's not like just that, all of a sudden we have this down, and I've done it so much that I just have it memorized. No. And it changes. It changes. And I always have to remember to just keep it simple, too. So that's why Back to Basics is important,
Pop quiz, Jason. What is laurels? That's a weird word there.
Laurels, well, that's like, to rest on our laurels is kind of our moral high ground, or what we consider to be the things that we live by, the standards we live by. So our laurels are our moral standard that we've come to know or developed or whatever. So
Interesting.
yes. And actually a laurel is a type of bush too that
Well, and I would think, okay, so me, my first interpretation of laurels, okay, so, I never really fall in line with understanding one specific religion. So when I thought of, or just how I made it make sense to me, is just resting on my laurels, being closed off, not meaning to, but just thinking that my perception or my understanding of the world and what's right and what's wrong, and especially with my addictions, definitely got blurred and fuzzy, and it became survival mode. And so resting on my laurels, when I'm especially going into those deeper, darker times, was, this is the right thing to do because I need to do this right now just to keep things going. And it started to get more and more into I'm not worried about anybody else's laurels. And I'm not worried about anybody else's value. I know this is what needs to happen right now. But early on, even before addiction, I think how I was raised up, how culture, I was learned, or how I was taught, and, I didn't understand the whole wide world. So a lot of those things, so resting on your laurels can mean a whole lot of things. But to me, for sure, is I never want to rest on my laurels, ever. Even in, going on 3 years here, feeling fantastic in recovery and really learning a lot of new things, I don't ever want to just stop. I don't ever want to get lazy. I don't ever want to get complacent. That's a risky business. Okay, back to you, Jason.
All right. So what are we doing now? All right. So yeah, but this is a. So anyway, the program is it's all about practicing these principles in all of our affairs, but always doing that. It doesn't mean we go through this and we're good and can rest on our laurels. No, we don't. We just keep doing this and we learn all the time. And that's why continuing to go is what works. Continuing to go to meetings, continue to stay in touch with sponsors or people in the fellowship that you know. But keeping this a part of your life because we're really only given that daily reprieve, contingent upon our spiritual strength. I guess forgot how that exactly goes.
I like that. So break it
But
down.
that's an old one. But anyway, but yeah, that I'm sure a lot of you have heard that we're only given that daily reprieve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's contingent on our spiritual well-being, basically. So we want to just keep doing that. We got to keep doing that. Do you want me to go through the 7 steps first and then
No.
into 8?
No,
okay,
no.
we don't have time. All
No,
right.
we do not have time.
Okay, because I'd be flying through it like an auctioneer.
Yes, and they can always revisit.
Yeah, exactly.
Revisit the previous shows that are all out there, recorded.
Yep. Okay, so we're at step 8, right? So it says, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. So what I always stress in Back to Basics is that, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness are the essentials, but they are indispensable, right? Just like it says in the big book. So we can't do this without being honest, open-minded, and willing, right? So this is what we want to do when we trust in our higher power, clean house, and help others. It's just that simple. That's what we do. And so again, we see the willingness in this step. And so, like in Wally P's book anyway, he's like, well, we don't need to make a list because we already have it. That's our step 4 stuff. But the thing is it's good to look at this list and actually maybe make a fresh list. But a lot of these things are going to be right at the top of your mind because you've hopefully recently done step 4 and 5. When you talk about this stuff with your sponsor or whoever you choose to do your 5th step with, it's really a good idea, in step 8 to kind of look at that list again and see which ones really do need to move on to the 9th step. Because there's some stuff on there that don't need to be there, you've reconciled with already. But nevertheless, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. So that's what we're going to do is this list, we're going to simplify it and say, okay, these are the things that you can do now. This is where you're moving from here. We're not going to take everything that's on your 4th step and go out and repair everything on there because a lot of times there's institutions on there or principles. And these things the only amends you're making with those really is going to be with yourself. And we'll talk about that in step 9. But this list now, it's important that, you know who you've harmed, right? Mm-hmm. And so this list is important to look at again. Look at your 4-step stuff and look at what is on your list. And so you have this list now. And becoming willing to make amends to them all. It sounds so easy, doesn't it? And became willing. Well, the thing is the willingness is all it takes to make it happen. So as long as you're willing, it can happen. And now by expressing that willingness, out loud or with your higher power and prayer or whatever you do it, meditation or whatever, it will help you to be ready to do it, to be ready to actually do it. But the willingness is what it takes. And it can be tough because, there's some things that you just do not. There's some people you don't want to talk to. Mm-hmm. But hold on.
Okay. Here's the beautiful thing. So Back to Basics, Wally and his co-partner and also wife, Britt, do workshops. Jason and I have also done workshops. So, whatever, doing that. And you can also attend the weekly Tuesday nights, 6:15 at Fridley, I don't know, Back to Basics. So what's fantastic is doing it that way. What I learned is, yes, it is so important to look at this list again, okay, step 8, but with someone, a sponsor, a mentor, a guide, anyone, someone you trust, and it's clearly very much encouraged someone who's very familiar with this program, right? Definitely there's some do's and don'ts. We do share a list when you come to those weekly sessions. There's a do's and don'ts list. One of those people, and this just popped in my head because I remember a specific case, but one of those people, the people or a person that you're going through this list with should not be on your list, right? I always talk about that because someone actually did that, which was kooky. But we'll get to it. When we get into 9, there's the post that I shared tonight says there's a number 1 rule that I didn't know about. So I think a lot of people, when it's been passed on, it's been filtered out a lot. But that's why I love Back to Basics. It's old school styles, how it was originally meant to be done. It never got passed on to me, and I didn't know. But there's a number 1 rule, thanks to Wally, and I've had conversations with Wally. He reiterates over and over and over. If you take his workshops, it's clearly in the book. Number 1 rule would you begin to do step 9. So I'll let you try to figure that out, Jason, when we get to it. Yeah. But here's what I love. When I went through and did this list with my Marcy, shout out, my sponsor, mentor, guide, she allowed me to, and I actually had a sheet in our workshop. So there's 4 columns, okay? There's now, okay, when you're making these amends. So who, these principles, peoples, institutions, can you see yourself making, or you need to make that amends now, like present day, maybe not tomorrow, but when you get ready to do it, like very soon. There's a later. So for whatever reason, maybe court reasons or location reasons, it's going to be a later. It's not going to happen very soon in the recent time. Then there's a maybe. Okay. There's maybe like you have this is where, again, someone talking to people about it in the program, your side, their side, the whole process. And then there's the never column. Now here's what I'm going to clarify, okay? The way my brain works, Jason, you tell me not to do something, it makes me want to do it. You tell me to do something, it makes me not want to do it. It's a very conflicting thing. So I remember sharing this 4-column thing with people. And what I found with, especially people that have been in the program, I don't know if they necessarily even work any other, program, and they're just this is how they did it, and this is how everyone should do it, kind of things. They were the ones that I got the most pushback from. There's the never, and they would tell me, no, you can't do that. You can't have that column. You could not never say you're never going to make it amends. You're shutting yourself off. And in my mind, now looking forward, I can see why they were saying that. But where I was at, still suffering, still in pain, still having a lot of psychological, mental health things going on, don't tell me I can't have somebody on my never list, because you don't know my story. You don't know this person. And for me to have right away, I felt defiant. So it's interesting because I actually went through the steps with Wally. I got lucky enough on one of the workshops I attended. I got to do it. And I asked him about that. And what he helped me realize is, especially when first working with someone, and now this is how I do it as well, but Marcy was my person who was like, it's okay. Yes, have some people on your never list, especially if they're abusers, especially if they've done really terrible things to you. Let's go ahead and put them on that never list. Now, what it gave me was this overwhelming feeling of justified. Like someone finally said, it's okay to feel the way I feel. And not tell me it's wrong, and not tell me that I need to do this and that. They gave me just that safe place to say, yes, it's absolutely fine to have a never column, okay? Now, I'll say, fast forward, it's taken me a couple of years, but I'm happy to say I got that last person off that never list. Now, I never say never, right? I never thought that was going to happen, getting them off the never list. It's kind of funny. But going into it, when people would say, you can't have someone on that never list, that pissed me off. It just made me run away and dig deeper into the darkness. So I don't encourage that. I say allowing a never list gives comfort to someone, especially if they've been abused for many, many, many years, or robbed of something, or who knows what. But anyway, so with step 8, big thing that I like that we encourage, especially in the way we go through the Back to Basics, is taking that list with a sharing partner. We call it a sharing partner, right? That's what they used to call it back in the day. Or a guide or a mentor, just someone, that you trust. And start listing out this now, later, maybe, or never. So do's and don'ts. So, okay, 8 thoughts on 8.
Well, and this, so they blend together kind of 8, 9, obviously, but so when we make this list of persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all, when we get into 9, this is where having the sharing partner is somebody with experience, a sponsor, somebody that knows this inside and out, taught to you about who you're willing to make amends to. Because, I mean, just as a personal example, I jumped through, back a long time ago, I thought, oh man, I feel so good. I'm at step 3. I'm going to go make amends, right?
Yes.
And it pretty much caused a divorce for me before, because there's some things you're all ready to go do, and you just shouldn't.
They're not ready.
Yeah, they're not ready, and you shouldn't.
Yeah. Yes.
But anyway, with the list thing, there you go. That's what it is. And became willing to make amends to them all. So we'll go on to step 9, and I'll let Bridge bust that out.
Okay, and I'm excited for this clip because it kind of really greatly meshes into 9. And it also, for me, this clip that we're going to listen to helped me. If I would have heard this so many years ago, it definitely would make me way more willing for sure. Shout out, we got listeners. Oh, it's J.R. Weaver. Greetings from Charleston, South Carolina. Do it my way. Rah, rah, rah. Hey, J.R., welcome back. I love when our listeners are very interactive. So everyone, please align with JR, interact, comment, questions, insights, your viewpoints. He said, I made a much needed amend today. Ooh, well, feel free, JR, if you're comfortable, go ahead and put that in the comments. I'm curious to hear other people's. I've had lots of amends stories, let me tell you, Jason. Mine, other folks, it's interesting. But it's all learning good things. Okay, so you know the protocol, Jason. Do you want to tell the listeners how this goes?
No.
Okay,
How
so after
You go.
we're gonna have some fun disco alarms that go off. Okay, one's to just remind us, which luckily JR reminded me, flashing some stuffs, to interact. This is a live show for a reason. I want you to interact. I want you to ask questions, comments,
Power on.
partake
Bluetooth pairing.
in this show, and then also, so the segment that support Jason. I just realized. So that session called The Hot Seat is 3 hot, deeper questions. But poor Jason, now this is what, the 4th time you've been back? So it's what the times 3. So there's 3 questions. But poor Jason, that's 3 times 4. That's a lot of deeper questions. Yes. And then the last segment is just my favorite. It's just to lighten the however the show goes. It's just fun. Live Facebook memes, and I just flash the memes. The listeners actually get to see them. But Jason, you don't see memes much. You're not really on social media at all, which I think is fantastic. But that's what's great. It's going to be authentic. Your first time seeing the memes, and like on Facebook, how you would react. It's a laugh out loud, hearts, you love it, and then you're free to comment. So that's about an hour, and I've gotten good. The alarms really help sticking to that hour. So this clip, it's only 2 minutes. So if you are a YouTube person, that's where I get a lot of this. I like the motivational stuffs, especially. Oh, do you recognize this?
Oh, yeah.
This is my favorite now.
Everybody dance.
Okay, so we are moving very much along. Okay, so Sally has connected the Bluetooth. So this video, I had one set up, and it was Oprah. And she got really to the point of forgiveness. Now, however, I found this other clip with Oprah talking to T.D. Jakes, and he takes it to a whole nother level. Now, there's a couple things that he says directed at women, but, I just had to shrug that off like he means all peoples. It's not just women, let me tell you. I've dated some dudes that they be acting like females sometimes. Anyway.
Power on.
Oh, see, I'm taking too long. Sorry about that, Sally. Go ahead and connect us again. So if you go on YouTube, it's called How
Power on.
to Forgive.
Bluetooth pairing.
And the YouTube channel is Sua Zhang. So subscribe to her. She's 365 subscribers. Fantastic clip. Here we go. How to forgive. And Jason has not heard this because, like I said, just about an hour ago, I switched it up. Here we go. It's gems here. Uh-oh. Oh, why is it not going to... Oh, it helps if I hit the correct settings. Sorry about this, folks. I've just been running wild, so guess what happened today? Mobilize Recovery tour bus was in town. Oh my gosh, Jason. I got to meet everybody who's excited and louder than me about recovery.
Dang,
It was very fantastic. Okay, my Bluetooth says I'm good. Oh, there we go. That's the right one. So I got to end my earbuds.
Bluetooth connected.
Now we're good to go. Okay. I don't want to waste precious time. Okay. So this guy wrote a book. So she's holding the book. Oh, right at the right seconds. Whoop. Okay. We're a little off. Here we go.
And ultimately, this is what we want for all of you, to be free, Given, and this is one of my favorite quotes: unforgiveness, unchecked, becomes a cancer in our soul.
Yes, I called it a cancer of the soul because a cancer won't stay where it starts.
Oh,
It spreads.
tweet that. That's good.
Yeah, it
That's
spreads. It spreads and it begins to affect every area of your life because we have a tendency, you can have cancer and not know it. You can have cancer and it will spread. You can have unforgiveness.
That's why unforgiveness unchecked becomes a cancer in
Absolutely.
our soul.
It's
And
not
it
going to stay
spreads.
where you put it. It's not going to stay in this one isolated incident. It begins to affect our children. It begins to affect our relationships. And most of all, it takes away from us the intensity that we need to function in the moment because we are still empowering our history. We do it at the expense of our destiny.
Oh boy, that was good. That was really good. But I think it's so interesting. Are you all thinking about that line? Let's just think about that for a moment. Unforgiveness unchecked becomes a cancer in your soul. Think of the ways it has affected the way you treat other people, the way you react in given situations. It affects your mood, and it
Absolutely.
affects your attitude, and it affects your behavior. It affects everything. That's what you mean by it just doesn't stay in one place.
No, you're angry with your ex-husband. You're married to your new husband. The moment he does anything that remotely reminds you of where you've been, you overreact because it's spreading to other areas of your life. And not only does it cause you to overreact, it also causes you to build walls around you from living your life to the fullest. In order to be successful at anything, you must be fully engaged.
Right.
It's going to take every ounce of you to produce what you're trying to get done.
Right.
And if you fuel anything that is negative, see, cancer eats up positive cells.
Right, right.
And unforgiveness, it not only is malice, but it eats up your personality, your creativity, your energy, your spirituality. It's too much of a price to pay to hold on to. And if you're going to spend all that energy energizing where you've been,
Wow.
then you're not going to have the fuel and the fire and the tenacity and the aggressiveness that you need to energize where you're going. So touch somebody and say, let it go.
Let it go. Wow.
Women are taught to think that it is powerful to hold people hostage with what they did wrong, that's your power, that's how you get back. No, I didn't forget it, and I'm strong,
Wow,
and I'm
good.
tough. But it takes more strength to forgive than it does to be vengeful and angry. And the worst part about it is, I really believe that forgiveness does not exonerate the perpetrator. It does not justify their behavior. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself.
Because you let it go.
Because you go so that you are available to be your highest and best self, and because you are saying that it is not stronger than me. It is not
See?
stronger than me. I disconnect from it as a sign that I am in control of it, and it is not in control of me.
Okay. I like how they talk about unforgiveness unchecked. And that's what's so great about this program is we are checking all those things. We got all those things within ourselves that I wasn't even aware of sometimes. anything you want to say in that clip?
Yeah, that was great. Testify, right? Testify. But no, that everything he said is absolutely true, and we learned this in our program. We're fortunate enough to have this program at our disposal, and we don't even have to watch Oprah,
Right.
right?
I don't anymore. She's not on air.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, she's great now, but we have this beautiful program that just will change our entire life and give us that power. So, anyway.
Well, and I think the hardest part with a lot of the things, people, principles, whatever, on my list was there was so much pain there. And they were so far, in my opinion, in the wrong. And they were. I mean, there was a lot of really messed up stuff. However, I couldn't even begin to be willing. You know, as soon as I even heard that word willing to forgive these monsters, you know, I thought, no way. Like, they don't even deserve forgiveness. And what this whole clip really points out is all that was doing was continuing that pain and that suffering that I was allowing that, you know, to darken my heart. And so hearing that, and I finally heard it in the rooms, and I finally was able to like really just listen and not be so guarded, was willing. And what I love that they say too is forgiveness is like medicine to your soul, because it allowed me to let go of that darkness. You know, and Oprah, what she points out that's beautiful. Forgiveness is not accepting what happened to you. It's not accepting what happened to you. You don't have to forget. You know, you're not forgiving what they did to you, right? It's accepting that it has happened, right? And I love that word "has." It's a past tense thing. So I accepted that has happened, and I can forgive that. I mean, there's no point in was no point in carrying that heavy ass baggage, right? Like this guy was saying. By the way, I just have to make a point. Maybe it was an all women's speaker thing. I don't know why he pointed out that women tend to do this. I have a point to make that a couple guys that I've had relationships with were the woman. They were holding on to things that I said 3 months ago, and I'm like, I thought we had a conversation about this. Or I made a point to share some things about my past experience, strength, and hope. It's all of a sudden in an argument. It was like, but you did this to your sister, so you're a terrible person. I'm like, whoa. Okay, this is red flags. So anyway, with that, do you want me to share with you the number one rule? That do you have a number one rule you think before even starting step 9? Like when one of your sponsees or someone you're working with is like, okay, I'm ready to do these amends. Is there a number one rule for you?
Well, no. My number one rule is let me see, how you plan on doing these amends.
Yeah.
Before you just go do them.
Right.
Because I know from personal experience that I've burned the house down because of it. Damn.
Oh my goodness, yes. So the number one rule that Wally points out in the workshop and in Back to Basics is you must get consent. So if you are going to do a direct amends in whatever capacity that is, even if it's writing a letter, okay, like they used to do back in the days, sending a text, an email, you must first ask for consent, okay? Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, then you're totally Xing out the point of the amends. So if that person says, no, I don't want nothing to do with your apology, nothing, then you need to respect that right now. But the nice thing is working with someone, direct amends is not the only amends that exist. Back to Basics, we talk about there's 4 different kinds of amends.
Yes. But what does that mean? What is this now?
Nope, continue. That's just the hot seat.
Aha.
It's coming up. We're good.
Well, first, step 9 reads, made direct amends to such people from our list wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. So that's an important thing to read because just like Bridge just said, you have to get consent to do this. Otherwise, you're living in that willful manner that you've done before. So we're trying to surrender that willfulness. We're trying to give it over to a higher power. And we can't just go stomping on people again like we did before in our using. That behavior has to stop. Mm-hmm. So except when to do so would injure them or others. Well, the thing is with that is a lot of times we're not in our right mind still, and we think that we need to do this, and we, me, the beaker from the Muppets, me. We're still looking at things in a selfish way. We want our sponsor, somebody else, to look over this to help us how we do this. And getting consent is so important. And I'll point out that a lot of people hear the promises all the time.
I love the promises.
And the promises are great, but they're really the ninth
They
step.
are the ninth
promises.
step. A lot of people don't know that.
Yes. And so when you hear that, remember, it's not just saying, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development in any step, no, it's a painstaking about this step of our development. If we are painstaking about this,
The ninth step.
yes, then, and the promises are great. They're unbelievable. And so they're unbelievable, but they're real. It might sound too good to be true, but most stuff is too good to be true. This is for real. Anyway, okay, so Bridge.
Yes, and one of these days I'll share the promises in reverse. Have you ever heard that version?
I think so. But
It's pretty to the point. Okay, so yes, step 9, and one thing I'd like to point out too is what I love about Back to Basics is Wally points out there's direct amends, there's indirect amends, there's living amends. That's a really beautiful one, especially if someone's like, no. You try to get that cassette, they're like, no, I'm not ready. I want nothing to do with you. Guess what? For yourself, and that was a lot of those for me. They were done with my apologies and, oh, you've done this before. Oh, blah, blah. It was really hurtful for me to even try, because to be shut down so quickly. But
should I grab one of those sheets from?
nah. And then the last one is called In Kind Amends. So I really like that one, because that's like for those people that may be no longer in this life, on this planet. They've passed on. They might not just be in your local national area anymore. They've moved a lot. You can't block your ass. You can't talk to them no more. But the in kind is wonderful, is that you can work that out. The whole point, I think, for an amends is the fact that we see the whole awareness, the point of the apology per se, but it's amends is the action that you take. And for me, really meant it in my heart and my soul. And that's when, that's what it's effective. And that's what's great about Back to Basics is we just want you to get through these steps. Because it was beautiful for me to finally see that I didn't do all my amends, no way, all at once. Okay, I had a lot of things going on there. But to get through some of those ones that in my head I built up was never going to happen was a reprieve. Was this, oh my gosh, I can't do this thing. Okay, any final thoughts? And then, I don't know if you heard it, Jason, but there was another alarm. Does that sound pretty scary? That means the hot seat is really ready for you again. Burn you up. But any final thoughts on step 9? And then, we do have more interactions.
Yeah, what's the interaction? And on step 9, this is a big deal when you do this, and it can take years sometimes to make some of these amends, and that doesn't mean that you just park on them though. But a lot of these can take some time, and the living amends is probably the biggest one you can do if you've got children and stuff. There are, I don't know, you're making those just like in the 12 by 12. I have it open right now, but it talks about how you started in that, kind of living amends the day you walked in this door and said that you really wanted to do this, So you start on that path right then. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
It really is.
And we keep talking so much about all this, and we're really trying to be simple.
I know, but
keep it simple and just do it. Do it.
And yes, just do it. And the nice thing is too, now that I've been able to go through the steps with other people, I learn things more as I go. I've opened up truths to myself I didn't even realize that I had buried. And here's another beautiful thing that I like to highlight is, I initially might have made this amends at this point to get me to whatever, another point in my life. However, as I've grown and gotten stronger and healed and learned some things, if I got that moment again, there might be a different kind of amends that that opportunity presented itself. And I was able to you could do multiple events if you want. It's for me. For me, it was a beautiful thing, to sit down. I wrote some letters. I burnt them. I never needed to, that was that freeing thing. However, it opened me up to be this person now that has changed. I've completely changed everything. And I walked in. I didn't expect it, but there's been some amends that were on that later, maybe, or never list that popped back, presented themselves back in my life, and I was able to have a direct amends. Let me tell you, and that was shocking, but positive. So, but here's the other thing: I've had many of them blow up in my face. Which let's get right into the hot seat, Jason. You ready? Here we go. 3 questions that I'm not going to grill you because we are running low on time, and then we will interact with the listeners. Okay, Jason. Question number 1, hot seat question. What was the hardest amends you had to support someone, so a sponsee or someone who's finally you've set free to do their step 9s? So what was the hardest amends that you had to support someone, that you had to help them through or be there for the aftermath? Is there anything that comes into your head where maybe it didn't go so well and you're like, I don't know, what happened?
Well, no, I don't really have a good one for that, but I do have one where, so there's a sponsee that he will not make an amends to his father. He does, so my sponsee is young, he doesn't have kids. He can't understand the pain that, I'm like, as a dad, I'm begging you to do this, because even just reaching out and let him know you're alive or anything like that. But that's been one of the hardest things for me because, I want to be willful and be like, well, you got to do this because blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not that person. I can't make them understand. And that weighs on me still now, and I'm still working on that one. But that's a tough one, and I don't think I know everything either. So I don't know the whole story. I just don't know what's going on. But man, I feel his dad's pain. So it's like, come on, we got to try. But that's the toughest one I can think of.
Yes. Well, and let me tell you, Marcy, I guarantee you when she met me, 7, 8 years ago, probably had, I know she says it to me, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I never expected you to be where you're at. It's just a total 180, So, okay, question number 2, Jason. Is there an apology that someone would not accept from you? And how did you handle that? How did you respond? Not, apology, amends. Was there someone who was like, nope, don't want none of it? What did you do?
I actually, surprisingly, I thought that would happen, but it never did.
No?
No,
Not
there hasn't been anybody that. What has happened is people are like, you don't have to apologize. And they're like, I forgave you a long time ago. You did, you might have thought you did this or that. Like you blow it up in your mind because you're so self-centered. Oh, everybody's thinking about me, and they're losing sleep at night thinking about what I did. No, they forgot, and yeah, that I haven't had anybody. I guess I didn't do that much bad. Right?
Yeah.
But no, nobody's ever said, I don't accept your apology, which is a great thing. But my mother also, she had been sober for many, many years, but was drinking at the end, and she died before I got to make a real amends with her because she was just stayed drunk most of the time. And so that I just got to write the letter. I still haven't done it. But, you just got to do these things. But, no, I've been fortunate. I guess I did some good stuff, right?
Yes. And write the letter and just speak. I've been really tapping into my spirituality, with the universe and my spirit guides. And they are, what's that saying? We're spiritual beings living a human life. Oh, yeah. So I've been, fruitful stuff is like when our human life here is done, that's just that. But our spirits are going to move on to wherever we're going to be going. Yeah. So, well, yeah, hey, okay. And, that makes me want to point out. So I love to point this out. So you make that amends, right? And you full-heartedly do that, right? Okay, I did that. And in my soul, I know I meant it. I know that I meant it. That's the key, because I want to point out to anyone listening, you apologize once. One time. So I know for myself in my past, what would happen is, because I used to be that broken person and live in my shame. It was very easy for me to take the blame of everything. So I know that I made that amends. I apologized, but if, say, a family member or a quote unquote friend or relation, whatever, whoever, throws it back in my face for whatever reason and is now expecting me to apologize again, or basically what happens is they're distracting. They're pointing the finger at me. I now am confident, because I've been through these steps so many times, is nope. I know that I've made my amends. Because, I still have daily shit, Jason. So I just still make amends. I still have to apologize for things, when I'm wrong, and not a problem. But that's it. I just remind myself, nope. I know that that's what's the great about processing that amends, is I know that I genuinely made that apology and I meant it. I do not have to sit there and keep making up for shit that I don't. There's a lot of people that will do that. They'll keep that's a control thing. So again, if you're listening, you make that amends, you make that apology once. As a mom, and I really haven't. I've heard a lot of, I'm in a mom's group, heard a lot of horrible stories, especially with older children. And, my daughter sometimes says this stuff. She's not so bad, but I've heard horror stories of the children are like, well, you did this. And remember when you said this to me? And remember when you were gone? And, it hits close to, as a parent. That breaks your heart. And it is horrible when I hear that the children know that. And I know that they're suffering too, but I put that face on, and I realize that it isn't about me. It is not about what I did. They're hurting. They're deflecting. They're deflecting onto me. But especially with my daughter, she's coming of age, really getting to the root. So when she's snapping at me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give her a few minutes here. Yeah. And then I knock on her door. Hi, honey. How was your day? Here's some snacks. I know you're a little hungry. Let's talk about this, because it always comes back into, it wasn't even about me. It wasn't even about a relationship. Something else was going on. So, okay, sorry. Last question, Jason. Is there anyone on your maybe or never list? Or was there anyone on, like, those columns, a maybe? There was anyone that took some time? Or is there somebody on a never list? I'm curious.
These are easy ones today, because none of this stuff.
Okay, that's good.
No, but well, kind of, I guess there's a couple that, I was like a cohort in some drunken shenanigans with friends, that we did some stupid stuff together. It was like, well, do I need to make an amends with them? And I still haven't gotten a straight answer about this, and I've asked my higher power for guidance in that, and it just hasn't come up yet. But I don't think that it needs to happen now anyway. But some of those maybe ones, we've had talks around it, my friends and stuff, but I'm not sure, if I was the victim and some of that stuff anyway. But an important thing, if I can, with the step 9 thing, is when you're doing these amends also, you're not pointing your finger at the other person. And that, I warn against that, because it's hard to do, because, sitting down, I can only give my experience, and sitting down with my ex-wife and going through some pretty tough stuff, I was just very much had to sit back and take a lot of, without pointing my finger. But you, that's something that you just don't want to be doing. And so I strongly encourage that you be ready and be able to sit and take it, because some of these people we've caused a lot of harm to, and just saying you're sorry is not going to do it. And that's not what making amends is about. It's not about going out and saying, I'm sorry. No, you're trying to fix the thing, and you've had a big part to do with that if they're on your list. So. But anyway, that's that. And yeah, and the maybe thing, we'll see, maybe.
Yeah. I think the fact that you even brought it up means the baby should be definitely processed.
Yeah.
Some point, whatever. And I love that you said that. Okay, so here's the key thing too, is especially people that aren't in the program, okay, and just have no idea what it even entails. So I've gotten a couple of amends, okay, from people. I've experienced, okay? So, of course, I would never, ever be like, I'm going to call you on some bullshit there, but never. I like that the fact that they're willing. I like that the fact that they're attempting. But one of the key things that I remember getting amends from someone that really, a family member really breaks my heart. It makes me emotional. She will never take responsibility. She will never take accountability. And I feel like that's the piece that kept stabbing me in the heart. And one of the speakers said, it's that she would say, well, I never meant to hurt you, okay? And I picked that out. That's the piece that I couldn't stand. So you never meant to hurt me, okay? In my mind, I'm hearing, so you're the victim, okay? Because you didn't mean to be like that. And for me, that's like a scapegoat. For me, it's like there's that ego piece. Oh, she's just that huge ego right there. Just always been like that. So she's not taking accountability, okay? She said, I apologize, said, I'm sorry. I'm making this amends. I never meant to hurt you. I'm such a good person. I didn't mean to hurt you. But what's wonderful is the speaker went on to say why that hurts so much is because what we're really listening for, if you're really truly making that full-hearted amends, right? And I have been able to do this, and I've processed it fully. What I needed to hear, or what the other side person needs to hear, is saying that I consciously knew what I did. I made that choice, and I knew it was wrong when I made that choice. I knew it might hurt you, and I know that it hurt you. And let me tell you, Jason, I was so defensive. I didn't even like them saying they hurt me, because like, I'm not weak. I don't want, you didn't hurt me. Please get away from me, right? Yeah. So maybe not even saying that, but just saying, I knew that I made that wrong choice. I knew it was wrong for me to do that. It wasn't right. And that is, that to me is accepting that accountability, that my side, right? And let me tell you, the first run through this, that's why it's so important to have that support person or sponsor or mentor. Is Wally said back in the day, I mean, he would park the car down the street, especially for the bigger ones. If they walked out of the house, he could be right there and swoop them up, and they could process it together. Nowadays, I'm a phone call away, okay? Some of the ones that I know, especially if they had to go spend a lot of time with them, I'm a phone call away, but I want to know how this one went. I'm here for you, because you never know which way it goes. You might expect it to go really well, it blows up in your face, or you expect it to blow up in your face and it went too well. It's never happy. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm done with my rant, but yeah, I just, let's get into the last. Oh, wait, we got it. Jason, there's people talking to us. Okay, J.R. Weaver. He says, oh, wait. Oh, my gosh, there's so many. I have to scroll, Jason. This is beautiful. This makes me so happy. Okay, let's see. Oh, J.R. said, Vice kicked in my mom's door. Guns and flashlights, arresting me and waking her up and putting her in handcuffs before taking me to jail. I was able to apologize from the heart today. Oh my gosh, that gave me goosebumps. You see my goosebumps? Cool. That's beautiful. Oh, Francis.
Power off.
Oh, thanks, Sally. Francis. Hello from Chicago. Hi, Francis. Chi-Town. What's up? Windy City. Welcome. Oh, they're talking to each other. I'm just reading it all. I'm so excited. Okay. Shared to my recovery revolution. Oh, thanks, JR. He's part of Mobilize. Yes, I did see that. You're a big JR reason why I wanted to make a point to go today. I'm kind of hermity this weekend. Bridge Bay Sky, we should get you on Recovery Revolution. Yes, I do listen. I got to see Jason Rundeen. He's been on this show. I know so many Jasons now. Jason, it's so weird to be at this point in my life where I'm like, oh, I do know like 3 or 4 Sarahs. Oh, I do know like 2 Jessicas. Like, yeah. It's never happened. I've never had multiple friend names, so many friends. Okay. And let it go, let it go. Forgiveness is divine. Ooh, I love that. Okay. Are you ready for my favorite part, Jason?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, Jason, I'm just going to go ahead and flash right here on the big screen for you. I did not get, I had no time, so I didn't have a whole array of memes, which I usually do. But again, I did save that when I had to save them onto this podcast here. I did get to review them. They're decent. Don't judge me too harshly. Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I just wanted Bridge had said something about, we're spiritual beings, right? And if consciousness is everything, I like this line that says, "We are not people thinking, we are thoughts peopling."
Ah,
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
oh, I'm on this whole new energy thing too, by the way. We are just all energies, you know.
Yeah, everything
And that
is
makes
energy.
sense because I feel like I can feel people's energies. And I've heard many people, well, nowadays, say they can feel my like positive energy. Like sometimes walking into the room, they're like, I don't know what it was, but I just felt this. And I believe it's your energy.
Oh yeah.
It's like that. You ever play The Sims? You know how they had the
Yeah.
green, like, pyramid?
Yeah.
What are those prism things over their heads?
It's like they're helping. Isn't it?
Yeah, so if you're doing really well, it's like beaming green.
Oh, that's for real. That is.
It's
for
real.
Yeah.
Yes.
But energy is everything, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. That's the law of physics, right? So really, you're immortal.
Yeah. And I believe that.
The immortal.
You know, the way, the tone that I'm saying it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm serious. Okay,
Indubitably.
here we go. Favorite in order. Okay. Now, can you see this clearly, Jason?
Kind of.
Okay, let me get you a little closer.
Should I read it?
Okay, so it's a sign. Yes, please just go
I
ahead
like
and read
this.
this.
This is
one.
a sign in the middle of the road. This is sweet. It says, "To the thief who took my antidepressants, I hope you're happy."
I hope you're happy. It's too fine.
Yeah, I like that.
that a clever one?
Yes.
Oh man, I still got this banner.
There was a guy at the fair when I was volunteering out at the fair. He had a shirt on that says, "I dream of a world where chickens can cross the road without their motives being questioned."
Oh, I like that. Oh, that's a good one. Oh my goodness. Okay, beam number 2.
Okay.
This is prime time.
Okay, a bunch of kids in their Halloween costumes, all dressed as witches, and one's a man witch. And it says, "If there's anything I love more than a family costume, it's a solid dad joke."
This is solid dad joke.
Ah, so the dad's in like a man witch can, and all of his daughters,
He's the
and his
man
wife.
Witch.
Yeah, the man
Isn't
witch.
that
Get it?
great?
Yeah, I like it. Well
just
done.
That's a level up dad joke right there.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
is.
and that's an action one right there. That's brilliant.
I like it.
I wish I had a male that would, because we got a house full of ladies. Oh, maybe my son. Who knows? The teenagers, they're not really. Oh, maybe my little guy. He
Yeah.
could be the man witch. And
There you go.
I'll dress as witch. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
All
I'm
right.
so excited Halloween's coming. Okay, number 3.
Okay, so it says looks like an old 50s thing. When a woman says what, it's not because she didn't hear you. She's giving you a chance to change what you said.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's so true.
Not that she didn't hear your ass clearly. She wants you to take a moment,
Wait.
think about how you're just going to repeat back what you just said.
Yes, which reminds me of that whole very, that old. There's a really deep saying that says, if a man says something in the woods and there's not a woman there to hear it, is he still wrong?
That's a good one. Jason, oh my God, I didn't even play. See, I am so off today. I'm sorry, but I need to play
A song.
the sound effects, Jason. And it's perfect timing because this next one's going to throw you. I think it might throw you off a little bit. Oh, I don't even have the volume up.
That's pretty easy to do.
Okay.
The X-Files.
Okay, the specific beam. You ready?
Yep.
It's perfect for that music. Here we go. I think it's deeper. It's a cool look. It's a cool ass look at Scooby Doo. Real life Scooby Doo.
Nice.
What does that say?
So there's a big Great Dane like Scooby, and it says Scooby Doo taught us that the real monsters were always human.
We're always human.
That's so true.
I watched Scooby Doo for years, and just
It's
this
Old Man
simple
Withers.
point, it was always a human.
Yeah.
This is big. Like think about it. Okay,
Deep.
what does it come to you conceptually?
What do you mean?
Like for me, I'm so silly, but mind blowing. You know, you see those funny animations of the mind blown. For me, this is so true in the fact that they went around searching for these monsters that people had created in their heads, right? These stories, and then they got so wrapped up in their addictions, right? Or whatever. And I don't mean addictions, it's just substance use disorders. I mean addictions in all kinds of compulsive behaviors, right? These monsters, but at the end of the day, it really just was a person. Mm-hmm. This is big things.
It
This
is.
could be a
That's
psychology
deep.
thing. Okay.
That's deep. Okay.
Kind of cool. I want a Great Dane.
Roll.
Oh, okay, these are just words.
Okay. It says, I love seeing posters for lost cats. Your cat isn't lost, man. Cats don't get lost. Your cat left you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so true, right?
It is true.
And sometimes they
The
will
cat
come
was
back.
like, nah, had enough of this shit.
Yes. And then I get something better. There's so many
Yeah.
people. Oh my God, it's so true. Cats are just so freaking smart. Oh, this is sad. Yes, very sad. Okay. Here's another sign, and it's perfect for this time of year.
Okay. It says Romney Ryan, right?
So it's a political.
It's a political sign, you know, and all that.
That's
And it
next
says-
to it.
Right next to it, somebody wrote in their own writing, husband sign, not wife and sons. Yes, I love
It
that.
points at the political one.
Yeah.
I
And
think
I
that's
honestly,
cute.
I can't stand it when people stick all their opinions out in their yard. I have a bumper sticker that says no opinion.
I like that. You know what? Okay.
I mean, I got opinions, but nobody gives a shit what your opinion
If
is.
you're asking for a BB gun or an egg, whatever shower to come rolling through your shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's what's interesting, Jason. There, I won't name the name or the political party. Younger fella, 2 months ago, knocked on my door. Okay, and that's been happening. It's the representatives or volunteers that go around. Okay.
And all the,
So the guy hands me the cards. He starts talking, and I'm trying not to be a jerk because I'm making dinner or whatever. But then I look at the card, and I look at the guy. It's the guy. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, so then I actually listen to what he says. And then he asked me, like, what are my issues? Of course, I brought up recovery, education, my kid's school, all kinds of things, right?
yeah.
This dude came back. What was it? Thursday? He's back! And I was like, yeah, hi, how's it going? He goes, hi, you remember me? I'm like, do you remember me? He goes, yes, you were talking about recovery. And your kid said, I'm like, you remember me? So
Cool.
I said, if you wanted to, but my house is not located in a prime spot. But I was like, you can bring one of your little yard signs. I actually read his card. I like a lot of, but I just felt, because all the other people that come around, that's not the people's. They're sending other people's. And let me tell you, some of those people's are dumb. They get into it. My roommate, she is political. And she asked some questions. Anyway, but I just thought that was heartwarming. This guy is that committed. He went around to the whole district, okay? And he's him. I mean, who knows where it'll go. He's got my vote.
Cool.
By the way, my son just turned 18. That's 2 votes.
There you go.
Just kidding. But anyway, I'd never had a yard sign, but I told him I haven't seen one. But if he wants to, my little prime spot that nobody sees, go ahead and put a yard sign.
Cool.
Okay, here we go. We got 3 more.
All right.
Ooh, just
Okay,
words.
just words, and it says crocodiles. Well, crocodiles are easy. They try to kill and eat you. People are harder. Sometimes they pretend to be your friend first.
And who's it behind?
Steve Irwin.
Ooh.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's right.
Oh, so you got crocodiles are easy. They try to kill and eat you. People are harder. Sometimes they pretend to be your friend first,
Yes. And then they try to eat your ass.
and then they eat you.
Yes. That's just true. I think it speaks for itself. But yes, I love Steve Irwin.
Yes.
Okay. Second to last. This is good. He looks really tired. He looks really, what would you say, perturbed?
Yeah, he's like,
About to smoke a cigarette.
he's kind of got that look on his
That's
face.
Ben Affleck, but that's irrelevant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, people can see this, right?
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
okay. So Ben Affleck standing, he's like,
Looks a little.
kind of like he's perturbed or go away. And it says, free for a quick call, easy to explain on the phone.
Ah, you get that text?
Nice. So true.
Oh, do you have a quick
Quick
minute?
call?
Can we just talk about? I know it ain't gonna be a quick minute, Jason.
No.
But yes, there's certain calls I will always take. So I'm like, all right, let me get home first, or let me just get my, whatever, some coffee first, because I know it's never gonna be a quick minute if we gotta talk about it on the phone.
Exactly.
So-
And I would rather have the phone call or in person than texting any day. But
Yes.
anyway.
And you know, the moments where I'm like stuck in a waiting room or stuck in a line, why can't they call then?
Yeah.
Then I have all the time in the world. But no, it's
Exactly.
right when I'm trying to do something or driving. Like, dang it.
Yep.
Okay, because for me, I want to be in a really good mindset, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
to handle. I always say I want to help carry some of that burden with you.
Yeah.
It's heavy stuff sometimes. Okay, here we go. Last final meme. Ooh, it's beautiful.
Okay, it says, and there's 2 little cute hearts on there. Never apologize for burning too brightly or collapsing into yourself every night. That is how galaxies are made. Nice.
Do you
By
like
Tyler
that?
Kent White. Yeah.
Do you like that? It's like space and, you know, never
Nice.
apologize for being bright and shiny and yourself, you know. At that, you know, and then collapsing at night, you know, into yourself at night. Like for me, I used to apologize. Oops, sorry I slept in, or oops, sorry I'm tired, or whatever. I'm done apologizing. I say sorry, I'm not sorry, but right now where I'm at, especially, I really try to live in the moments to the full capacity. And lately, Jason, I've been setting a lot of boundaries. I've taken a pause on a lot of things, and really just my focus in certain aspects of my life. So I used to feel bad about it, but now I realize that's important. That's what I need. So at the end of the day, especially when I collapse into myself and I sleep, get that REM sleep, it feels great.
Yes.
And that's how galaxies are made.
Exactly.
Galaxies are beautiful
Yeah.
universes. Okay. Any final thoughts, Jason?
Well, sometimes just keep it simple. We're always focused on the road ahead when really we need to look at the road right exactly in front of us. So one task at a time and just focus on that one little part of it. That's all you got to do.
And another big thing is, if a thought pops in your head, right? If a question pops in your head, especially as you're going through these things, and maybe for whatever reason, you know, there's so many people think you can only have one quote unquote sponsor, mentor. That's BS, by the way.
No.
That's not written in the book.
I
There's
have-
so
I
many
got like
weird rules people have made up, okay?
Yeah.
I think ideas behind maybe initially, but guess what? There's no wrong way to do these steps, period. And there's no right way, somebody else's way. I've heard stories where people are like, what do you mean you're going to get another sponsor? What do you mean you ask somebody else on the step? What? They get their ego gets, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I always encourage, have as many mentors as you can in your life. And if you question anything, yes, pick up the phone, shoot a text. You know, it's okay to not understand. I'd rather feel stupid about it, ask the question, finally understand it, then I don't feel stupid anymore. It's a very simple concept.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being that. But that just means that, you know, my ego is very much gone, and I want to know all the things. Openness, willingness, and honest. Hey, I don't get it. I'm not smart sometimes. Just tell me the right thing to do here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I feel you. Laugh out loud. Okay. Y'all crack me up. What? And he said, that's cool. Steve Irwin was legendary.
Quite.
Love that quote. Love that quote. And yes, keep it simple. Okay. Do you feel it? I wonder, did we miss anything? You know, come to one of our workshops. We got to have one soon. I figure maybe
Yeah.
once we get to the end of all these steps, we should do another workshop.
Yeah.
How we
Or-
facilitate.
And people can come to Fridley too, to Back to Basics.
Tuesdays?
And Tuesdays at 6:15 if you're in the area, North Carolina. That's far away. Or
That's
where-
why we
where
got
is-
to hook up that Zoom, Jason. I keep
Yeah.
telling you.
Yeah, but me and technology. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, just like I said, in talking with the sponsor or other mentors can be very helpful, but remember that they're also human. And ultimately, you ask that question to your higher power and just put it out there and forget about it, and you'd be surprised how the answers can come to you. So don't be afraid to try that too. Yes.
Yes.
Live in honor, do no harm, blah, blah, blah.
Love is our code.
That's right.
Love is their code. Okay. And that's a wrap. We did good. 9:04, Jason.
Perfect.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. And please tune in next week. You know, it's Recovery Month. This is a beautiful month, September. All kinds of crazy things going on.
Cool.
But I am a person of my word these days. So same time, same day next week, I'll be here.
Cool.
Okay. Everybody have a great week. And thanks for listening. And I hope you had a good weekend. I love you guys. Hearts out there. Good night. Oh, I always forget the music. I'm like, I want to hit the end broadcast. And then I'm like, no, but there's this music.
Listen to the music.
Yes. Consistency.